I'm thinking of investing my time and money to build IoT products in domains like healthcare and smart home, security, and toy robotics. I'm thinking of picking one or two products initially, then going to market for a reality check to see how it's doing. What do you think? Is this a good idea to pursue or not? I am a technical person. I have a little knowledge of circuit designs and electronic components. Is there anyone who's interested? Please DM me. So they want to get into the IoT world. Okay, well, I mean, the IoT world's a little saturated, but that's okay. It doesn't mean you can't come up with a cool idea. So, all right, hold up. So I got to back up here.
I'm just going to say,
yeah,
70% of people are not going to know what IoT domains are. Getting
fair.
into the IoT domain.
Internet of Things. Okay. Internet of Things is not so much your cell phones, but like all your
smart bulbs.
Your devices around your home, your refrigerator,
correct.
Like, okay, so for example, there are refrigerators out there that can literally tell you when you're low on milk.
Yes.
Right? How does it do it? It has a sensor inside. Milk goes into a certain spot. It has a sensor to know when the milk is low. It then goes to the internet and sends you either a text or an email letting you know that the milk is low. That's an Internet of Things. Okay, a lot of these baby monitors are teddy bears that have cameras in them, and if the baby starts moving too much at night, it senses it and it sends a signal to mom and dad through text or something like that. Hey, something's up with baby. Right? That's Internet of Things, and then those are just a couple of millions of examples of, at least you mentioned light bulbs, right? There you have a single light bulb that has millions of different color choices on it, right? Internet of Things. And those light bulbs can do things too. Those light bulbs can be security cameras too, not just lights. They all kinds of different things, right? All your Ring devices at home, if you use the Ring service, Internet of Things, okay? That's what IoT devices are.
Yep.
Okay.
I just want it to be clear.
No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. People sometimes they don't know what they are. So anyway, yeah, there's already millions of them out there. Okay. But every time I see another one, it's like, that's a great idea. It's endless. It really is endless. And there's always amazing ideas. Now, this isn't necessarily IoT. It's not IoT at all, but it can kind of lead to it. So I went to the Eagles game the other night. And I didn't download the app in time. I didn't know, but my friend who's a season ticket holder told me, yeah, download the app and you put your phone up. And then everyone's light on their phone synchronizes in the stadium. And when this team is coming out of the tunnel, the lights all go off and they know where you are positioned and it starts doing like a wave and stuff like that. It's everyone's phone, almost like an LED board around the stadium. That is cool. That was like, I was like, what a great idea, right? What a simple but great idea. And you can do that with IoT, right? With IoT, there's so many simple but amazing ideas that we just haven't thought of yet, that are just so easy to do.
So basically, you could take 1,000 light bulbs and accomplish the same thing if you attach this to a seat and all connected.
Well, yeah, you could do that, sure.
But you're just doing it on an app instead.
You're doing it on an app instead because people feel like they're a part of it now, right? That's an app. I was just saying as an example of something that's relatively new.
I know
that is simple. We could have been doing it for 10 years now, but we haven't been, right? It's a newer idea.
And people don't understand that there's a whole industry dedicated to fan experiences.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Like there's
Absolutely.
a whole industry. I know a VC in that space.
Oh, do you?
Which is fascinating because they get pitched like 2,000 new ideas every year.
They have to. Yeah, they have to.
And they have relationships with like
Man United. Let's take those
and,
2,000 ideas. Those
Jaguar.
2,000 ideas, even if half of them are brilliant ideas, and there's probably more than that, right? You can't do everything.
Correct.
So you got to narrow down. But think about how many great ideas are in there somewhere, right? And that's just for fan experience.
And correct. So they actually do both. So they do anything that helps improve sports teams, whether it's player management, fan experiences, like their VCs are basically for the sports industry. And they have clients like, the Jacksonville Jaguars and Man United Soccer Club. Like these are all clients of theirs. But what's interesting to me is that where's the end of Internet of Things?
There is none. That's the beauty of it.
Is everything going to be the Internet of Things?
Well, everything has the option.
Are my shoes?
Your drink can be the Internet of Things right there. Like that container of Coca-Cola could be your thermos could be the Internet of Things, right?
I mean, I guess they launched a Samsung Ring now. So now your jewelry is...
Yes, I saw the ring. Yes,
right?
It's neat. Yeah,
it
is neat.
It's funny because you say it's neat. I'm like, well, that's dumb.
No, I think it's kind of neat.
No, but
right?
there's always going to be...
Oh, everyone thought a smartwatch would be the dumbest idea, and then it wound up being, everyone has one now except me. I'm the only one who doesn't have one.
I finally bought one because... Do you know the only reason I bought it?
No.
Is because I hate listening to my phone ring.
Oh, okay.
So now I can keep it on silent.
And you'll know when someone calls.
Yes.
Yeah, because I my phone is right next to me all day long. Right next to me in the office all day long. And when it's on vibrate, because sometimes I forget to turn it on.
Oh, no,
I will miss the call, even though it's right next to me.
Yes.
I'll look over in the last second. It's like, oh, I just missed it.
Mine's on silent.
Yeah, but it'll...
Correct, because
great. Okay, Internet of Things,
Yes.
right? I just saw this, and I'm telling you, I love it. I don't know if you ever like it all. I love it. My wife doesn't know when I'm going to get this for us for our anniversary. It is a pair of bracelets, right? And when you tap the bracelet, it taps her bracelet too. So because a lot of times I travel for work, right? So I could be all the way on the other side of the country, or sometimes I'm traveling around the world or doing something like that. It is. I love it.
That is so sweet.
And you can tap the bracelet, and it taps her as well, and then she can tap back. It's the Internet of Things. It's the coolest thing. Isn't that the greatest idea?
Let's get back to how romantic you are.
Aren't I romantic? But no, seriously, think about that. It's the simplest idea. It is so simple.
So
now
what,
that it's done,
does that have to be synced with your phone and her phone or internet, whatever?
I'm imagining it's through the phones.
It's got to be because it's the internet.
I'm imagining it's through the phones. But just think about how simple that is, right? It's just a way to communicate.
It's like
with
the
each
old
other.
friendship hearts that you used to break in half.
No, it's not. That's the difference.
No, I'm saying, but now like they're a direct connection. So anytime I think of you and touch it,
well, yeah, honestly.
Wow.
How cool. No, you can do it with your children or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, we just sent our son to school, right? Freshman in college. My wife's devastated. She's not devastated now, but she was devastated for the first week or so. Her baby boy is out of school. Imagine, now he would hate it, of course.
I was going to say.
But imagine if he allowed her to do that.
Don't set her up for disappointment where you give it to him and her and he leaves his.
But no, seriously, that's an IoT device. Yeah. And it's such a cool idea. It's a simple idea, but it's so cool, right? So things like that, if you want to take some time and money and come up with really unique, and that's the one thing about the IoT world, I think, which is different than a lot of other places. There's millions and millions of unique ideas that have yet to be discovered.
Correct.
You can't say that about many industries at all.
And this guy is doing it right. He's going to do 1 or 2 product tests,
right.
See what the response is, and then evaluate it from there. That's 100% the right way to test the product.
Exactly.
Right? We talked about this before. Kickstarter and any of those is if you can, and I will take it a step further than he does and take it back to don't produce it until you have pre-orders. Sell the idea, right, to the early adopters that are willing to wait a little bit for it before you start actually manufacturing. That's how you can tell whether or not your product is most likely going to sell at some point. And also don't underestimate the amount of time it takes for a product to build momentum.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like a lot of people throw something out for 60 days and they're like, oh, this isn't really catching on. I'm like, dude, you sold 700 units of it. Like, that's pretty good in your first 2 months, right?
Right.
And they're like, yeah, but it didn't meet our expectation.
Well, then your expectations are out of control.
Right? Like,
your expectations should have been 10 units.
Correct. Like, either you didn't market it enough or your expectations were aligned. But I'm like, you had decent numbers. You need to let it develop a little bit and see if you get that secondary market.
I mean, tell people, honestly, from the day you launch a product, like let's say a physical product, right, until the day where you sell enough where your company is not that you're aggregately in the black, but where you're now selling enough product where you're not losing money. How many years is that?
As the manufacturer?
Yeah.
So it
obviously it varies. I get that.
Correct. But I mean,
on average,
I would say expect your first probably 12 to 16 months that you're going to be possibly operating in the red.
I was going to say 2 years. Yeah, about 2 years.
Until you start seeing the profitable side of things, right?
And that's just getting to the black, not getting aggregately in the black. That's another year or two down the line.
Right. That's why I say going from red to black.
Right.
as far as revenue goes,
Right.
not aggregate. Now, are there things where it's happened where it's shorter, where it's longer? Yes.
Of course.
Are there products that have blown up overnight?
Oh yeah, sure.
Sure, it happens.
You have a better chance of winning the lottery.
Correct. Right. And that's what people tend to forget
Yeah.
is, so if you can keep your production costs low or not produce until you've sold it, you are minimizing the amount of time that you are going to be in the red.
Right.
So let's say you wanted to start a candle business, right? And you're just going to do it from home. You're going to do little candles that you make like people were doing during the pandemic. What is your cost? Well, you got to get the tools, which nominal expense.
Yep.
You got to get the wax. You got to get the scents. So very low barrier to entry, right? But you also don't have the capacity to manufacture a lot because you're using the in-home
Right.
type equipment, right? So you could operate in the red for 2 weeks. You sell a handful of candles, right? Handful of
Yeah.
candles.
Right.
And now you're in the black, right? So 2 weeks to get to where you're now actually making money because you already have the supplies and now it's rolling, right? But that's call it a $300 investment
Yeah.
to
What are you
get
really going
started.
to make on that?
Correct. But it's a $300 investment,
Right.
right? What happens when that's a $300,000 investment, right? Now all of a sudden you have to sell a boatload of stuff,
Yeah.
right? When you buy that first industrial grade wax melting machine, right? Now all of a sudden that machine is going to be operating in the red for 6 to 8 weeks before
Yep.
you see any return on it, right? Like, and this is the stuff that people generally don't understand about business, is that this is why you have things like, what's it called, amortization and stuff like that, where you can write things over a period of
Yep.
time because it is such a massive hit on your business. This is where people don't realize buying that $60,000 machine, you might be paying that off for 3 years. You might have to sell
Right.
1,000 candles every month just to pay for that machine.
Forget about the depreciation.
Correct.
Which is a whole different story.
But you have to sell 1,000 candles every month just
Yeah.
to make the payment on the machine, right? And you still have to buy all of your supplies. You still have to do all your marketing. It's just people underestimate how long it can take to become actually profitable, right? Unless you're selling something like a service, which is your time, then you can be profitable tomorrow. And we've talked about this before, like landscapers. If you want to start a hardscaping business, there's a lot of money out just for base equipment,
Yeah.
right? So it could take you 3, 6, 8 months to start making the money back to pay for your time and get your money back from the equipment.
But if you're just buying a lawnmower and cutting grass, you'll be paid back in a couple of weeks.
Correct.
Yeah.
$50 a lawn. You could do 3 lawns in a day.
Right.
You're probably paid off in 2 weeks for that lawnmower. If you need the weed whacker too, right, a few days.
Another few days.
But
right.
you will not scale your business with a walk behind lawnmower and a weed whacker.
Right.
Right. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, it's just concepts that people need to do their homework on before they start any type of business. But I do agree with you, back to this IoT, right, is this allows you to start at a very, very small scale and test it before you go into any type of production or anything.
Yeah.
And 100%, this is how you should do it. Though exactly the way this guy's doing it.
And if you do have a little bit of knowledge on circuit designs and electrical components, you could build your own boards. You could build your own chips.
Yeah.
You can buy EEPROM chips and program them yourselves these days.
Yeah.
Still, I think they still use assembly for that, don't they?
I'm not sure.
For the EEPROMs?
Not sure what they use.
I'm not sure what language they use these
But
days.
it's more about the product than the circuit board anyway, right?
Well, yeah, but you still have to build a circuit board.
Correct,
board,
but you can always
circuit boards like
right.
that big.
But like, once again, if you can pre-sell 1,000 units at slightly over what you think it's going to cost, it's a proof of concept.
Yeah.
You don't have to build it yourself anymore.
All right. Well, again, I love the idea. I love IoT. IoT devices are fun. A lot of them are nonsense, but some of them are a lot of fun. If you do it the right way, it can really it could change your whole your whole attitude toward certain aspects of life.